Hi all, Nick Watts here for We Love Betting, back after the international break. I've missed it, to be honest. After a sequence of 2 out of 3s, have put me in profit the last few times. And it's nice to come back to a coupon that actually offers you a few that really tempt. I've had to narrow it down from more than 3 this week. So if you're interested in what those other bets are, then you better follow me on Twitter, I guess. It's at NickWatts82, and I'll probably have a few tweets on all the games on Saturday, so you can see what you think. To the 3 bets that I've finally selected for We Love Betting then, and the first is probably my favourite. Not very often you feel you've got the chance to back Manchester United, but I was actually kind of surprised at the pricing really here, particularly midweek when I was doing my research. They've come in a bit now, but Manchester United were 8 to 11 when I was first looking away to Sunderland. I think they're more like 4 to 6 as I speak here on Thursday night. Just absolutely relentless, this team, aren't they? Despite the fact that everyone talks about maybe they're not the best Manchester United team ever. They've won 15, drawn 2 since they were last beaten, and that was back on November the 17th. They've got the best away record in the league, won 10, drawn 2, lost 2. Of course, one of those defeats coming to Everton on the opening day of the season, or opening weekend of the season. They've gone 5 games without conceding now, so even where there was a bit of a worry before about their defence, that seems to have been shored up a bit. And they're just a really professional outfit, and sickening as it is, you have to give credit to Sir Alex, don't you, really, for these teams. This weekend they go to a weakened Sunderland, really, when you consider that Stephen Fletcher, huge blow to lose him for the rest of the season. Lee Cattermole, also a bit of a blow. They're probably their best midfield enforcer, and certainly their best goal scorer, going missing now for the rest of the season. And when you consider that they've actually only scored 33 goals in 30 games with Fletcher in the team, you just wonder where on earth their goals are going to come from. They've got the 15th best attack at the moment. You could see it end up being lower down the table in terms of scoring charts, couldn't you really? They're the 16th best home team, a win 4, drawn 6, lost 5 record to fall back on, so not exactly spectacular stuff, and you'd be very confident backing Manchester United at that kind of 4 to 6 mark, to be honest. I'm almost tempted to go for that. 4 to 6 generally my barrier, if you like, in terms of pricing. I don't think it's a bad bet at all, which so rare to be able to say that about Man United. I'm actually getting a little greedier though. United top of all half-time tables in terms of overall at home and away. 6 of their 10 wins have been winning at half-time and full-time. And Sunderland at home at half-time are 15th. They've won 4, drawn 6, lost 5 in the first 45 minutes. So not a particularly spectacular team in terms of their starts. Manchester United 17 to 10 you can get still on Thursday night, and hopefully into the weekend. 17 to 10 to win half-time, full-time. I'm all over it, absolutely. On to game 2 then. Swansea Spurs. With my Arsenal cap on, looking at the final fixtures, I was actually hoping Spurs might drop points in this game. But I think that international break was perfectly timed for them. You know, things weren't going particularly well. But it's just come at exactly the right moment so that they can go away, regroup a little bit, and I think mentally they'll be a bit refreshed, even if their legs may be a little weary from the travelling. I don't think the burden of those back-to-back defeats will be on their shoulders quite the same way as they would have been if they had to play again in quick succession. And that's to Arsenal's detriment, of course. They've got the second best away record in the league behind Manchester United. They've won 8, drawn 2 and lost 5. And you look at where they've suffered those defeats: Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Everton. None of those disgraceful. Of course, the Everton game was a late turnaround. They led at Liverpool, led at Arsenal, of course, before Adebayor was sent off. And a bit unlucky at Man City as well. The other defeat, I guess you'd raise eyebrows at it now, away to Newcastle, but actually when it happened near the start of the season, probably wouldn't have been that much of a shock, really. Newcastle having had such a strong year last year. Their record against sides outside the top 7 then is 1-7, drawn 2, lost 1 on their travels. And actually, you know, that's a pretty solid record, and makes that kind of 11 to 8 mark that I'm looking at here on Thursday look pretty attractive, it has to be said. Swansea, you know, there has to be a question mark over their motivation, just because it's affected so many teams before. When you're safe, when you've got a trophy in the bag to boot, you know, how much are you really up for the fight when it comes to it, or are you kind of already dreaming of the end of the season and patting yourself on the back a little bit? They're a good side, and you do expect them to take points off the top teams at home, but they've drawn 3, lost 2 against the top 7 on their own patch so far this season, so not beaten anyone yet, and they've lost 4 of their last 6 as well. So the feeling is really that this is the time to play them, certainly, than it was, you know, maybe 2 months ago. Both second half teams, interestingly, and this is the route I'm going to go down, although I am tempted to pick out Spurs. I think actually there's a bit of an in-play opportunity with this one, despite the fact it's not on TV. Spurs are 9th in the half-time standings, and they've won 7, drawn 17, and lost 6 after 45 minutes. Swansea are 15th in those standings, having won 5, drawn 18, and lost 7. Now only QPR can match that 18, and these are 2 of the top 3 in terms of half-time draws. Draw Spurs in the half-time, full-time double result, if you like, is 5-1, which is pretty appealing in itself. I always like to wait to half-time before I think about backing Spurs in any game, because their price inevitably drifts, because, you know, so often because of the fact they've been level in these games. And I might be tempted to do that again, but what I am looking at for the purpose of We Love Betting is a half-time draw. At 13-10, I think that's pretty appealing, to be honest, when you consider just how often these two do it. Third game then, I'm going to keep this on a bit shorter, a bit sweeter. It's Wigan-Norwich. Wigan are odds on, which I find very strange, other than the fact that, of course, they've got this reputation about, yeah, they're on an end-of-season run, yeah, becoming a bit of a cliche, it has to be said. A cliche that has to be respected, but not when they're odds on at home. They are the worst home team in the Premier League, according to the records so far. Won 3, drawn 4, lost 8 at home. Not impressive stuff in the slightest. And for me, there's no way they deserve to be odds on, no matter who they're playing, let alone Norwich, who are the draw specialists on the road. It's a Premier League high. They're 7 away draws. They've drawn 13 overall, which is the joint most in all games. They've won 2, drawn 9, lost 2 against the bottom 8 sides. And of their 5 visits to the bottom 6, all 5 of them have either been 0-0 or 1-1. So I see that kind of trend continuing. If you fancy a correct score punt, I think either of those, if not both of those, is totally acceptable. But I'm going straight up for the draw at 27-10. Quick recap then. Man United half-time, full-time, don't get much opportunity to back them at that sort of price, 17-10, too often, and I like it a lot. The half-time draw in Swansea Spurs, for all those reasons I gave, 13-10 and 27-10 for another draw here, Wigan against Norwich. Good luck, guys. Have a good Easter.